Hey everybody! Welcome back to Rambling Runoff with your host, Robert Rios.
Yes, thank you. And you forgot to introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, courtesy to the loser, I introduced the winner first.
Oh,
and your second host, Danny Tan. Welcome back, guys.
Now, yeah, welcome everybody once again to another episode of Rambling Runoff. It's good to be here again, Danny.
It is good to be here. As promised, loser of the Pacquiao Ugas fight introduced this podcast. Robert typically does the intros, but I did the intro this time because I lost. Let us know whose intro you like better down in the comments. If you like mine, I'll keep doing them. If you like Robert's, I will leave the show.
Stupid, you better not leave the show.
No.
I will go over there, digitally smack you up.
Or chain me up in podcast hell and force me to record.
Yes, just like in Space Jam in the first one. And you will always lose. Bam, random Space Jam reference there.
Random Space Jam reference. Pull you down the golf hole.
But yeah, we have a good show for you tonight. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, right, Danny?
Yes, sir. We've got Pacquiao versus Ugas. We've got MLS All Star Game and a news segment, and then the rundown with quite a few headlines to talk about.
I mean, it's not too much, but we had to squeeze some new stuff in there at the last second. Cause why not?
Yes. Yeah. If we can fit it in, it goes in.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna fit it in. There's no ifs, ands, or
buts.
Pause.
If, ands, and buts. No pause.
Okay, whatever. If, ands, and buts. You threw me off. You should just let me go with where I was going. But yeah, that's gonna be our show for today. But before we do that, what you been up to, Danny? How's your week been?
Not much. Week's been okay. It's been pretty busy at work. And speaking of that, the next few episodes for maybe the rest of the month or the upcoming month, you might have a bit of a weird schedule. You might have to be working late, so you may not get the show same day. It may not be uploaded every day or every Thursday at 6:30. We'll see how every week shakes out. But yeah, my week's been pretty good. I went golfing, just on the range, not on the course. It was pretty fun. I got some good tips. I'm a much better golfer after an hour of tips at the range. But yeah, my week's been pretty calm. How about you, Robert? How's your week been?
Oh, my week was alright. Just doing stuff for the show again, trying to get that Anchor account ready.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm
Spotify, here we come.
Spotify, here we come. iTunes, Google Play, all that. We're trying to get it done, but it's currently only a one and a half man show.
It's a one-man show. It's all Robert.
All right. I was trying to give Danny some credit.
Give credit where credit is due. I do nothing.
But yeah, I mean, I started out the week well. We introduced our new side show, the Podium Show, which will focus on one topic. I hope everybody got to listen to that about college football. I know it was long. It was very long.
What a deep dive. Those shows were, I don't know if you want to pull the curtain back, but the time was supposed to be not as long, but you guys already dived in deep.
I mean, I didn't know how long it was going to be. I told my good friend from Cal State Dominguez Hills, Daniel, tell him, hey, you want to be on the show? He's like, yeah. And he loves college football more than I do. I mean, you guys, if you listen to the show, you could tell that I was lackluster in my performance and my knowledge, and he knew a lot of more stuff than I do. He was more detailed in his explanation of things. Like, I'm like old school, like, well, this team is usually good, this team is usually bad. But yeah, I feel like I know you heard the show. I mean, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I definitely right off the gate, you can hear and feel Daniel's enthusiasm for college football. All of his stats right off the dome. Like, he knew anything and everything. But yeah, I mean, you guys had I think a pretty good rapport back and forth. You sure as hell knew way more college football than I did, but I liked the show. It introduced me to a lot of teams too. Like I didn't even know half.
Hey, you muted yourself somehow.
Oh, how did I do that?
You said you finished off at I didn't know half of the, and then you disappeared. It was a ghost.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, ghost computer. Yeah, I like the. You guys introduced me to a lot of college teams that I should be on the lookout for. You know, I only knew like Notre Dame, USC. You know, some of the bigger names that you guys talked about. But yeah, the show was really detailed, super detailed. You guys dove in super deep.
No, yeah, I mean that's like more or less the purpose of the show. I mean, I don't think every show is going to be almost 2 hours long, but I mean we're trying to cover all of college football in one whole country, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I always figured it was going to be more than an hour, but I mean, I like the show. I mean, of course, I'll admit a little slow in the beginning myself, but I picked it up towards the end. You know, with the back and forth with Daniel. So I feel like overall the show and the show concept, it works really well.
Yeah, I have two notes. One, Robert made the graphics really good. Love the graphics. Number two, you have two hosts so far, both with the initials DT. What's going on with that? And they sound so close. Danny Tan and Daniel Tom. What? Well, I didn't know who this guy was, and as soon as you introduced him, I was like, what? You trying to introduce me? I'm not on that show. I was like, what the? What's going on?
I had to mute myself because I'm freaking laughing. But yeah, I mean, I noticed that quickly too. I was like, when I was making the graphic, I was like, all right, I need to make sure I spell Daniel's name right. And I quickly noticed, I'm like, you guys basically have the same name. I was like, I had to make sure I get the right one because I was testing it out. I had Danny's and I had Daniel's, and I was like, all right, let me just like test it. All right, here I'll put Daniel's now. And it's like, okay, wait, let me make sure the file is correct and I put the right one.
Yeah, it was like surreal. I thought I was tripping for a second. I was like, wait, what the hell? No, but yeah, Daniel seems like a really cool dude, super knowledgeable. I think it was a great show.
Why, thank you, Danny 10. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, good sir.
Hopefully we get you on one of the podium shows, which may have to center around either basketball, tennis, golf, boxing, or MMA.
Yes, or we can pick something else I know a lot about: engineering, material science. That's it.
Really. Oh yeah, sure. We could do a sports science show. No, not really.
Yeah. Well, what about the newer materials of I don't know, football helmets? We can do the engineering side of sports. What about that?
I'll think about it.
Denied. All right. Well, on that note, let's jump into our first topic. Unless you had something else to say. What else?
I was just gonna say, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Oh, what kind of scientist?
That's a Spider-Man reference, Danny. Come on.
Okay. Oh, Spider-Man from what year again?
The first one, the Tobey Maguire.
So what is that, like 2004?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And because the Spider-Man trailer came out.
Oh yeah. Wait, let's talk about that in the rundown.
There's we'll stick a Spider-Man reference again somewhere. That was our Spider-Man reference of the day. First one.
Spider-Man preview. But let's jump into our first topic, which is we already talked about a bit. Pacquiao versus Ugas, the return of the Filipino senator into the ring. We're almost 3 years of no fights. Pacquiao did come back with his coach, Freddie Roach. But you guys already know, Ugas, the current welterweight champ, defeated 8 Division former world champ Manny Pacquiao.
In easy fashion, by the way.
Yeah, I would say in commanding fashion. Ugas looked strong. Pacquiao, I feel like he just looked slow. He looked like his head movement was slow. His feet were slow. His hands were, they're still quick. They're still Pacman's hands, but you couldn't feel the energy. You don't feel the quickness, the reaction, the high energy of a typical Manny Pacquiao fight. Yeah, what did you think, Robert?
No, yeah, very slow. It looked like, yeah, like how you said, like his hands were quick, but he had no energy, like he had no feel for the fight. Like to me, all right, bear with me here. It looked like he was boxing, but he wasn't boxing. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like if like he was just throwing the punches. Like he looked like a boxer, but he wasn't boxing at all. Like he even said in his one of his post match interviews, he's like, I never adjusted. Like he was only fighting with like one style, and I never got around to beating his style for some strange reason. Like, I mean, even him saying that is kind of odd. Like, I mean, it helps my point more that he was boxing, but he wasn't boxing. Like he wasn't thinking or feeling it correctly.
Yeah, Pacquiao. In saying that, I think another quote post interview or post fight interview, Pacquiao even talked trash. He said, "Ugas is one of the easiest opponents I've ever faced. All he had was a jab and a right," which is true. Ugas found a lot of success with the jab cross, even fake jab and a quick check right hook. He had great reactivity, but like you said, Pacquiao could say all that. He could say that all day, but he never reacted. He never adjusted. You just didn't see the normal Pacquiao. You didn't see the in and out. The quick. Oh, I dodge your punch. I give you a flurry. Dodge, flurry again. Take a couple of your punches. None of them are clean, and I hit you right back. You didn't see the old Pacquiao. You didn't see the energy that typical Pacquiao brings, and I think that's why, Robert. I think, to your point, it's so jarring to see, Pacquiao fighting with such a different style. Like this is almost
old man
another
Pacman.
person. Yeah, it's like you possessed another, or you took the spirit of another boxer and threw it in Pacquiao's body, and it didn't fit. It wasn't compatible.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed, like throughout most of the rounds, like even though Pacquiao said Ugas was throwing the same punches, but he was landing his punches. And every time at the end of the round, who had the most punches landed? Ugas did.
Yep. Yeah. I think overall throughout the entire fight, I think Pacquiao threw a total of, I think it was 2,000 punches with a success rate of 16%. Whereas Ugas threw, I think it was 487 punches, but he had a success rate or a land rate of 37%. Or 27%, so almost doubling what Pacquiao's output.
See, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take us quickly through some of the notable parts of each round, and then we can talk about where Pacquiao's going, the future of Pacquiao, and a little bit about how Ugas did and what fights he can see next. So round one, Pacquiao looks pretty good, quick hands. But you start to see Pacquiao with a little bit of a different style. He's standing in the center of the ring. He's not moving around his opponent as much. But quickly, you see Ugas's reach advantage. Round two, Pacquiao starts sitting in the ring more, right in the middle. He's not his usual bouncing self, going back and forth. There's a little bit of a couple of clean hits on both sides, but nothing really notable. And then round three, we get to see a little bit of what we want to see. Pacquiao hits Ugas with a good flurry. I think it was 2 to the head, 1 to the body. A couple of partially blocked body shots, but he really pushes Ugas and pushes his back against the ropes. Did you see that, Robert? Do you have anything to say about those first 3 rounds?
I mean, I feel like they were like any other boxing fight. Like they were slow, but only because both of the fighters were trying to get a feel for each other. But yeah, I thought Pacquiao was started to warm up a bit, but you see later through the fight that like quick what'd you say, flurry was,
yeah.
I mean, it was just a little tinder of fire that he was able to get in the fight.
Yeah, we also got to keep in mind that both fighters train to fight different people. Pacquiao trained for Earl Spence Jr., which is a totally different fight. But yeah, I mean, it's a slow start as any boxing match is.
But please continue and your tell the tape here, please.
All right. Yes, sir. Yeah. So round 4, I think, is where Ugas just takes over. Ugas shows a strong right hook. I think near the end of round 4 that knocks away Pacquiao's hand before he makes clean contact with his head. And I think it just forced Pacquiao to acknowledge him. You even see Pacquiao smile, shake his head a little bit, kind of saying that, that was a good hit. You got me, or he might have been trying to play it off like that didn't hurt, but it was a clean hit. Round 5, we see Ugas really showing his reach advantage. His jab finds a lot of success, and it really pushes Pacquiao back. You see a little bit more timidness. And I'm not sure if that's because Pacquiao is typically, a bit more of an aggressive fighter, in and out. But the reach of Ugas did something to Pacquiao this round. We'll talk a little bit about Pacquiao's reasonings at the end. But yeah, something about Ugas's reach, the power of his punches, and just his general composed, solid, grounded style really threw Pacquiao off. Yeah. And in the 6th round, Ugas lands a strong jab to the body, and Pacquiao responds with a good body hook, but he couldn't follow it up with anything. Ugas takes the hit and backs up a bit, and Pacquiao is unable to land any clean shots after that, and they reset. So what about those 3 rounds, Robert? Did you see any of those or have any notes yourself?
No, I mean, there's nothing else to add. Like, yeah, I kind of agree with you that Ugas just totally just took over that fight. Like, Pacquiao's like, oh man, this is gonna be fun, and then it just was not fun for him for the rest of the fight.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pacquiao came in overconfident, underperformed. Ugas, on the other hand, came in confident, stuck to his guns, and really showed up. Yeah, as a champion should. But yeah, round 7, a lot more back and forth. I don't have anything notable written down. But round 8, you really get to see Ugas use his reach. He throws some good, strong body shots that really push Pacquiao back. And he lands a few good combinations, alternating from the head to the body. And this is where you start to see a good pattern from round 4 and on into round 8 of Ugas just using, jab cross, 1-2, 1-2, finding a lot of success, both to the head and to the body of Pacquiao. Yeah. Round 9, Ugas finds more success with the same combinations going, alternating from head to body, and they keep pushing Pacquiao back. And in round 10, Ugas lands multiple hard straight rights that are opened up by a few quick jabs and a few jab feints. And Pacquiao responds at the end of the round with a good flurry, but he slowed down that section of the fight, or that flurry, and most of the hits aren't clean. And it ends the round, but Pacquiao just seems very exhausted and defeated at that point.
Out of touch.
Yeah. So let's just push her to the end. Round 11, Ugas finds more and more success with that jab cross, and his check hooks are really stopping Pacquiao from coming in and trying to land anything.
Yeah, I do remember in his post-match interview, they asked him, like, hey, that double jab worked for you, huh? And he was like, yeah, of course I'm going to use that.
Yeah, you find success once, you try it again, and if Pacquiao doesn't adapt, and he didn't adapt or adjust at all, if I was a fighter, I'd keep throwing it. I'd keep throwing it until I was punished for it or until it didn't land. But Ugas just kept doing the same things over and over, and Pacquiao was it's like he had tar on his shoes. He couldn't move. He was just slowed down the whole fight. His feet wouldn't move for him.
No, I mean, Pacquiao, on the hits that he got him good. Like, there's like that one shot where he got Ugas like right in the forehead, but it was it's like he was playing with like pillows on his hands or something. Ugas was eating that stuff. Like, he's all right, you hit me in the head, but it was nothing.
And that's not to say Pacquiao still doesn't have power. You can see every hit that he lands, even with his speed, Pacquiao still has power in his punches. You can see it when he lands a clean body shot. Ugas does feel it. You can see when he lands a headshot, his head does snap back a bit, and both fighters were damaged around the face. I think it was Ugas's right eye and Pacquiao as well around his right eye.
Yeah, Pacquiao had some scratches like on his cheeks, like under his eye.
Yeah, they both had swelling around the face, typical of a boxing match. But yeah, both fighters I think felt the power of the other fighter, but Ugas just found more success with the same style, which shouldn't be working on a veteran like Pacquiao. But finally, in the 12th round, Ugas found the head of Pacquiao in the last round quite a bit. The jabs just kept coming. He even landed a few open hooks.
Yeah, he just started laying it on him at the end. He was like, all right, final round. We got this far, might as well. Yeah,
and right after those hits, you see Pacquiao smile or sigh or try to shake it off. You can see it's kind of sad seeing Pacquiao. You can kind of see his emotion. He feels like he should be doing better. I think he knows he should be doing better, but he's just not able to perform at the level that the world is expecting him to perform at. And you can see fatigue at the end.
Yeah, like you said, like he was smiling, like look, he was trying to have fun. But then like once like it ended, he was like, oh man, I think I just screwed this thing up. But yeah, like you brought up a good point earlier that like he wasn't prepared to fight him, but so wasn't Yordenis Ugas. Like he's a younger guy. His record isn't as long or strenuous as Pacquiao's, but he's a good fighter. Like I didn't know who he was coming into this fight, but he gave it to him. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are not going to go back to the stats like how we are. They're just going to see the bottom line that he defeated him. I mean, unless you're a crappy reporter and you put Pacquiao loses fight, but but no, like he outright lost the fight. Two judges scored the fight 116 to 112 for Ugas, and the third had it 115, 113 for Ugas. And according to the Associated Press, they also scored it 116 to 112 for Ugas. So I don't know why someone would say that Pacquiao won.
Yeah.
Or at least he lost. You get what I'm saying?
I think it's clear Pacquiao lost this fight. I agree with the judges with the unanimous decision for Ugas. But let's keep in mind, Ugas trained for Maidana, which is, I would argue, has a similar fighting style to Pacquiao. You know, it's not exact, but Maidana has quick hands. He does like coming in and out. He does more check punches than, a typical fighter. But then again, Pacquiao was training for Errol Spence Jr., who is a power puncher. He also has a reach advantage. So I don't think it's too far of a stretch for either fighter to have been switched. It sucks that they switched it up on them because of the two injuries to Maidana and Errol Spence Jr. But I think that it wasn't a crazy switch up. Both fighters were training for a similar style in the fighter that they were originally planned to face. But Robert, let me ask you, what do you think is next for Pacquiao's career? Do you think he should retire, or do you think he's got another few fights left in him, or where do you think he should go?
Personally, I think he should probably hang up his boots. But contrary to what I think Pacquiao wants to keep fighting, considering, he didn't get this. He didn't get a Spence Jr. fight. I believe he wants to fight somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately. And I feel like he feels he has a lot in the tank. Like he wants to do what he's been doing since he was like 18. Like he doesn't want to stop. He's not gonna let this go. But if I were him, like it's not like Ugas like destroyed him. I mean, it was commanding defeat over a legendary boxer. But if he goes up against someone, I want to say a little bit more quicker, maybe a little bit more stronger, a little less more technique, someone that isn't as technique heavy as Ugas is, with his double jabs and his combinations, like what is he gonna do? Like he's gonna get his ass beat, and it's not gonna be good. And then what are you gonna say when you fight Spence Jr.? Oh well,
Yeah, or Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, there you go. Terrence Crawford is the other guy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So like maybe you should call it quits. I know in another after fight interview, it was with ESPN. He's 60-40 on retiring. He also didn't. They asked him in the ring, "Well, are you going to retire?" He's like, "I don't know. Let me rest and decide. Let me rest with my family and make that decision later." And then they also asked him, "Hey, are you going to run for president?" He's like, "I'm going to try."
Yeah. So I think Pacquiao's got to pick a lane. But in another post-fight interview, Pacquiao did hint to a rematch in January against Ugas for the WBA welterweight championship. But I think Pacquiao should focus on the Philippines. I think he's a huge celebrity over there. He's already done some great things as a senator, pointing out corruption, especially even recent corruption. He didn't point out old corruption. He pointed out new corruption in coronavirus aid, COVID-19 aid, where political officials were stealing aid that were supposed to go to those less fortunate or those in need. And he put a target on his own back so that he can run for the people. I think he can do a lot of good there. But I feel that Pacquiao wants to go out on a bang. He wants to win a championship, retire, vacate that championship seat, and then have someone else pick it up and go out as a legendary champion.
You're telling me he's going to want to do 3 fights? A man that's 42 years old? Dude, come on.
I feel that that's what he wants to do. I don't know if he's able to do that. I don't know if he really is considering doing it seriously, but I think that that's his desire. You know, if I was in that position, I was a senator of a country, I was going to run for president, I'd want the best legacy that I could leave. And, you know, I can't really put myself in his place and speak for him, but if I wanted to make the greatest impact on the world that I could, I would really try to push for championship, retire, president of the Philippines. But that's also me not considering his health, his age, how he feels. I have no idea, his fatigue level, and the stresses of being a senator of the Philippines. But yeah, I think that that's his desire. I think that's what he was shooting for with this fight. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But he was shooting for it with Spence Jr.
Yes, exactly. He was shooting for it with Spence Jr. I feel like he got a lob by getting Ugas, who is arguably not as entertaining or as strong as a boxer as Spence Jr.
No, yes, of course. I mean, even people were telling, because I had to look this up because they mentioned in the fight that he didn't win that belt that he had. Like, it was vacated to my knowledge, and
yeah,
he hadn't defended it, and this was his first actual title defense, and he was like, yeah, I am the champ now, so what's up?
Yep. Yeah, and props to Ugas. You know, it's credit to him for stepping up and fighting a legend. You know, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, Pacquiao fell short, and Ugas stepped up.
I think Ugas wants Spence Jr. now.
Ooh, I don't think he's ready for that.
You don't think he's ready for that?
Yeah, I mean,
he just beat the opponent that he was supposed to face. So,
I mean, Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford are the most evaded boxers in the welterweight division. But we'll see. If Ugas is feeling up to it, I'd love to watch that fight. That would prove that Ugas deserves that championship. And if he's able to face Earl Spence Jr., he would get another championship and dethrone that champion.
I mean, it would probably help elevate the sport than what other people that I don't want to mention are trying to do right now, and just have big wannabe big names bring in numbers, I guess. Even though those numbers are not always going to last. Like, we need something. We need something to help elevate the sport again, but with a more core audience than just people that will buy pay-per-view ads, you know?
Yeah, I mean, celebrity boxing is just a whole thing in its own. But yeah, let's not get into that.
No, yeah, of course. That's why I didn't mention no names. But yeah, Pacquiao might call it quits. Ugas he's now a known name in the boxing world now. Well, I mean, I'm limited on my boxing knowledge, but now he put his name more on the map. So hopefully he gets more opportunities from this. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add in regards to the fight or the career of these two boxers?
No, congratulations to you for winning the bet. Congratulations to the Cuban, Ugas, or Yordenis Ugas. And I hope Pacquiao's doing good after this fight. No matter what direction he chooses to go, I wish him well.
I mean, I'll just leave it with this. I'm surprised you say he's 60-40. Like, what do you mean you're 60-40? Like, you don't gotta give a direct answer on these interviews, but I don't know, it's very sus.
Yeah, I think I have a really strong feeling that he really does want to go out with a bang. Maybe he'll settle for just a win and a retirement after this, but yeah, I feel for Pacquiao.
No, I mean there were I was able to watch some of the other highlights to readjust my talking points for today. And in one of the clips, they show his wife, like, she's wearing a mask over her face for COVID, but I feel like she really wanted to put a mask over her eyes because you see her, she puts her head down like in shame, and not in shame, but like I guess her reaction was probably what was going in Pacquiao's head, like, oh man, like I can't watch this no more.
Yeah, I think it was in fear because at that point, Pacquiao was really taking hits to the head.
Yeah, he was taking
a beating. Yeah, and I think it was just in fear and in worry for her husband. But yeah, I don't know if he wants to put his family through another fight like that, or the potential for him to receive permanent damage, even as a legend that he is. The sport of boxing is a dangerous sport. It always has been, always will be. And even the legends that get in the ring can get hurt. So we'll see where Ugas goes from here. I think that's why he's 60-40. He's got a lot of things to take into account.
It's all true. But yeah, I think that's everything, Danny, for this fight. We just gotta wait and see where it goes now.
Yes, sir.
So next other thing that me and Danny were able to I guess analyze and cover and look at was the MLS All Star Game, which took place this week, I should say. Excuse me. I couldn't talk for a second. But yeah, this year the MLS All Star Game, I mean, it was supposed to happen last year, but of course it was canceled. And they were going to do a little bit of a different thing. Usually the MLS All Star team faces a European team, which they've done for the past couple of years. They've gone against Everton, Manchester United, Real Madrid, a lot of big teams. And this year they did the different thing and they went up against the Liga MX All Stars, which Liga MX is the top division for the Mexican League. I thought it was pretty good. They also brought back the skills challenge, which some of the events carried, which basically was like FIFA in real life. Basically they had players shooting targets in the goal. They had this really big contraption that had like holes in like trash cans. So basically they had to lob or kick the ball to their teammate and they had to shoot it and into the trash cans.
Through the hole. Wow, yeah. That's crazy.
If you go on FIFA, this is basically real life FIFA. They have like a goalie challenge, kind of like pass the ball to your teammate and hope the goalie blocks it. And at the end of it, they had a crossbar challenge, which was like from, I usually say the 25 yards out, hit the crossbar and then go the half field for the game winner.
Jeez.
And then, whichever way you look at it, the Liga MX All Stars were able to outlast the MLS All Stars. Although the MLS All Stars did start hot, and then halfway through, Liga MX started getting points, and that's how they were able to be victorious in this first ever MLS All Star Skills Challenge. But
yeah,
I know Danny, you didn't get to watch it, but you did, however, get to see. You did, however, get to see the MLS All Star Game.
Yes, sir, I did.
And I know you don't watch a lot of soccer, but this is one of your assignments for this week. Can you give us what'd you think about it for a second, please?
As a non-soccer fan, watching two All-Star teams, I really enjoyed this All-Star match. It's like it was great exposure for both MLS and for La Liga team or La Liga division, Liga MX. So I got exposure to a lot of players, a lot of different play styles, and to me, it was a great game. It looked like the players got a little competitive. They were really going back and forth, doing their best. I don't know if it was their best to put on a show or their best to show that that their division is better than the other. If there was like a rivalry between MLS and Liga MX, but I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So, just to give you some context, just in case you and our audience listening or listeners, so it was MLS and Liga MX, of course. For the MLS team, they had a former U.S. men's national team and 3-time MLS Coach of the Year, Bob Bradley, who coaches LAFC, lead these guys out there. I don't recall off the top of my head who was coaching the Liga MX team. I believe it's the coach from Cruz Azul, maybe. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of familiar faces from the MLS team. For LAFC, they had Diego Rossi and this other guy, I don't remember his name. For in regards to, I'm mentioning LAFC because the game was in LA, of course. Although there was not any reference to the Galaxy, unless you heard the LAFC fans in the audience, in the crowd yelling, "They don't like Galaxy." I'm not going to repeat what they said. I know I did find it interesting. I'll say this real quick. I found it interesting that halfway through the game that the Fox broadcast started acknowledging that there was LAFC fans because they started doing their chants.
Yeah.
Even though they were like silent throughout the whole game. I'm like, bruh. But anyways, because usually they do have home team, the home team crowds represent, but it took them a while to get acknowledged. But yeah, this game was pretty good. Liga MX, I'll give you my analysis. The first 15 minutes was all MLS. Liga MX, of course, none of these players for any of the teams, play with each other like normally, unless you count the first 15-20 minutes of the game where the MLS team had basically all of the Seattle Sounders midfield, which is basically 4 to 5 players on the team playing out the first time. Coach Bob Bradley was like, "Yeah, we're just not going to separate them. They play well together anyway, so here you go." And yeah, here, what do we have here? Who had scored the goal? Jonathan Rodriguez, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so after those first 15-20 minutes, Liga MX finally had a scoring opportunity, and Jonathan Rodriguez got the game going. Was the first goal of the game. He got assisted from George Sanchez. And the MLS was
Jorge Sanchez.
Okay, Jorge Sanchez. Sorry. Excuse me. And after that, the MLS was just trying to play catch up. There was a lot of opportunities they had. I think you said they had, like, when we were talking off the show, they had like 2 opportunities. A few went wide. Yep. They had one that got deflected off the line, which was a little bit of a miscue from Liga MX, and Diego Rossi was in on goal. He tried chipping the goalie, Guillermo Ochoa, but nope. Mexican Liga MX defender came in and kicked it right off the line, which was probably the more exciting play besides the goal in that first half. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I think another notable thing was Jorge Sanchez had a great save early on. I think it was in the first 7 minutes.
It's the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, there was an incredible save. Yeah, we're right up to the line. He goes up and kicks it back.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was saying. Just was names. I just couldn't remember his name. Yeah, this is where you jump in. I don't remember his name. Oh yeah, that guy Jorge Sanchez. He saved the ball.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, what are you gonna say? You go for it. I want to hear more from you. I want to hear the non-soccer guy talk about this. This is more interesting.
Yeah, well, I would say in the first 50, I think up to the first 20-ish minutes, there was some great action. It was all MLS for a bit, but not Liga MX did end up scoring, which I think was a well-deserved score. They really cut through the defense of MLS.
No, I feel like the defenders fell asleep.
Yeah, fell asleep. It was like they were playing foosball. They were like stuck on rods. They couldn't move, and the ball just went right past them.
Yeah, it was like yeah, they fell asleep, and they're like it was too easy.
Yeah. To me, that's great. To me, as a non-viewer, I was able to see the casual viewer. I was able to see the difference in skill for when a player is on and a player is off.
Yeah, like what a lot of people notice is like particularly between American and Mexican players, that American players they're athletic with like very tough engines. Like they can play for long periods of time. They're very more tactical. They're more on the mental side. When you're looking at Mexican players, you're more on the skillful, on the technique side. They will play formation football, but you could tell where they both differ in playing styles.
Yeah, I felt the aggression of Liga MX a little bit more than MLS. When they did have an opportunity, you really got to see MLS, try to take off. But I thought that Liga MX and that Mexican style was definitely more technical, just as you said, and I think a little bit more aggressive, and obviously better on defense.
No, yeah, I agree with you with the aggression thing. Like, there was one foul that was given that Sebastian Legit from the LA Galaxy took. I don't know, the dude, he got forearmed from the back, like aggressive, just like elbow, just bam. Like, whoa. Like, where did all this come from? But I know where it came from because they acknowledged it on the Fox Sports 1 broadcast that a lot of the questions that the Liga MX people were being asked were, are you guys taking this serious? Do you guys want to win? And a lot of the MLS like organization people were getting asked like, well, how is this experience compared to other games against other teams? And then a lot of the Liga MX players are like, yeah, of course we want to win. Like, we don't want to lose. Like their competitive spirit was higher. Well, I don't want to say it was higher, but it was more noticeable between the media and the players, particularly with Liga MX.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of a preview of, what a FIFA would be. And I think tensions might have been a little bit high too, off of
what a FIFA
by US. Whoa, hold up. But you know what I mean? It's like beginning of of like the practice phase or practice games and whatnot. It's like, excuse me, it's gearing you up for that soccer season.
You mean like a preseason game?
Yes, but
I mean, this was an exhibition still, but their competitive spirits were very noticeable throughout in the later stages of the game.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is the competitiveness by country and by nation, or by team, in country and nation was there. I think I felt that Liga MX was trying to really represent the Mexican division, and MLS, even though it's mostly made up of Mexican and other nationality players.
Yes,
you kind of felt the division of like, I'm playing for America ish, I'm playing for Mexico
ish,
and I think
it wasn't all Mexican.
Ish, yeah. I know.
One of the you want to know what's more ironic?
Yeah,
is that one of the Mexican Liga MX strikers, excuse me, Funes Mori, Argentinian, who switched over to the Mexican national team. He played in the last couple of minutes. And you want to know who else played in the last couple of minutes?
Yes, go ahead.
The New England Revolution starting goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who also is one of the U.S. men's national team goalkeepers.
Yeah, so I guess it was a mixed bag, huh?
No, yeah, that's why it was more ironic. It was like, oh man, like some of these guys play for the Mexican national team. They want revenge. I was like, oh man. I mean, like all these other guys, all these other nationalities are like, they're like, yo, dude, like Andre Blake, like, hey man, I play for Jamaica, man. I don't even know what's going on here. I'm like, well, welcome to this world, bro. Welcome
Yeah,
to
I
this
think
fight that no one asked you to come in
yeah,
for.
I know. Yeah, I hope to see that kind of rivalry when comes around. I feel like it'd be a great pickup where this Olympics left off. We didn't get to feel that feverish, world watching the same thing that we typically see around the Olympics. But hopefully by then, FIFA World Cup will see a COVID-less or less COVID world, and we'll be able to feel that worldwide
Like the energy.
consensus. Yeah, the energy of the world focused on one thing.
No, but yes. So, like,
You muted yourself.
excuse me, sorry about that. So the first half ended 1-0 with La Liga Mexico. And the second half, however, it was still back. That's where the second half is like how we know how we already mentioned. It just got very competitive for no reason. I'm like, sir,
I loved it.
I know, of course, I know you liked it because you're like, dude, they're about. Well, luckily they did not fight.
No.
I mean, the game was stopped for an offensive chant that was said in the beginning, and I think towards the end they were just trying to get the game over with. It wasn't as noticeable, but other than that, there was no fighting. Luckily, there was a lot of harsh tackles from Liga MX and some MLS players too that were just like trying to haul ass in that game. But what was it? The 60th minute or so. MLS ties it up off a corner kick from. There you go. Thank you. Now I see it because you wrote it down over here on our notes. LAFC's Jesus Murillo heads the ball into the back of the goal off a corner kick, and bam! Now we got ourselves a game. 1-1. What'd you think about that corner kick, Danny?
Yeah, from the two angles that they initially showed, I thought it was like, wow, what a great, what a great header into the back of the net. But then they showed like a dead-on shot of the net, and you really got to see the angle that Jesus Murillo used to get that ball to the back of the net. And then it became from a good header to an incredible head-in play. Good on him, seeing it, noticing the angle, and his head position was perfect.
No, yeah, I mean, he was in pitch perfect prime spot to hit that ball. Like, he got up there to get that. Like, that was not an easy ball. I mean, I feel like the defense could have done better to stop him, but hey, he did his job and he was able to score. He was able to score for home team in the home city.
Yeah, I think that's one of those shots where you're just like, damn, what could you have done? It was a great shot.
Yeah, so after that, that's where, like the game kept elevating. It was very, very contact heavy. I was like, dude, this ref is giving out yellows. I'm like, bro, this is supposed to be for fun, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think near the end, the refs, I feel like they got tired of watching the contact because I saw them, like feel like they were about to give a card, but then like, let the ball play.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, at some point he was like, all right, I need to start giving out some cards.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't be having this guy just elbow the heck out of this other guy. Like, that was a rough tackle. I'm like, dude, what was that for?
Yes, but eventually the game did end in regulation after an extra 2 minutes, and it went to penalties.
Which, yes, the MLS All Star Game does go into penalties. There is no extra time or overtime in the All Star Game. So, yeah, penalties it was. And penalties, it was I wouldn't say it was very stressful because, like, no one I, like, support, like, went up to go take any penalty. But, who had gone first? It was Liga MX. They had gone first, right? They had struck first.
Yeah.
And then MLS made their second. I should probably... Terrible notes. I didn't get the shot takers, but
I believe Liga made the first, MLS made their first, Liga made their second, MLS also made their second, and then Liga misses, MLS hits, Liga misses again, MLS misses.
No, they didn't miss. Matt Turner screwed them over.
Oh, sorry.
Matt Turner.
Yeah, I'm saying miss.
Yeah, they
But
didn't.
they're all blocks.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, bro, like Matt Turner.
Yeah, what an incredible goalie. I think it was the first shot by Liga MX where he dove and was still able to block with a small kick on the ground.
Yeah, it was off his foot. Oh, here. Well, I have the order of the goals. So it was Liga MX hit the first one, and MLS hit their first two. Liga MX then missed their next three up until the last one where they made the fifth one. And at the end, MLS missed their last two after making the first two. And the last one is where it came down to, I think his name is Ricardo Pepi. He plays for FC Dallas. He's 18, one of their academy players, to my knowledge. And yeah, he put in the back of the net, kind of. It hit off the crossbar on the top left corner, and then it bounced in. But yeah, he sealed the deal for the MLS, and MLS went away the victors.
What an incredible shot, by the way. I don't know if it was intentional to hit off the crossbar, but if it was...
That was not intentional.
And you don't think so?
No, it wasn't. This isn't basketball. You don't bank shot. Like, if you bank it, if you hit it off the post, it was pure luck.
Well, hey, I'm not a professional soccer player. If I had trained for years playing soccer, maybe I could do that shot.
I mean, hit it off the post and squeak it by the goalie every time. I mean, you would be a god amongst the soccer community.
Yeah. Maybe this is where Ricardo Pepi really steps up. Maybe he's the next superstar of the MLS.
I mean, I could tell you Nani took the penalty right before him, who he could have won it for the MLS, but he totally just shanked the hell out of that shot. Dude,
yeah, I saw
kicks
that.
It not even in between the poles, man. I was like, it was funny on the Fox broadcast. Like, oh, here comes Nani. He's going to close it out. The Manchester United legend. I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to be awesome. But in the back of my head, I was like, dude, I remember like in the playoffs, he missed a penalty, a very soft penalty. It got saved. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew he was going to miss it.
And Liga's last shot was so funny. Just a walk-up little punt and just, rolled it into the right side of the net. So
yeah,
funny.
like it looked like he wasn't going to, like he was going to adjust the ball. Like I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Matt should have known, but I think even Matt Turner, the goalie, was even thrown off because I was like, dude, you see he's taking 3 steps, but even like the commentators were like, I thought he was just going to adjust the ball again. But no, he just rolled it in very, very so subtly, which is a good technique. But if it's a goalie that, he already knows it's coming, like it's going to get stopped every time. So it's a very rare thing to see.
Yeah, I think it was even more shocking to Turner because the last 3 came in so strong and he was able to block them. I don't think he just expected something so daintily to roll into the back of the net. Yeah,
no. If you're gonna do that, you already know that it's gonna go in the back of the net. Like, or at least you're committed. Like, there's no like luck in that. Like, you're committed to it. If you're gonna there's different styles of taking penalties. Like the way Nani took it, he took it like off the the outside of his boot, which I would not recommend. So yeah, MLS All Stars, they come away the victors. Danny, what'd you think of the game overall?
Yeah, I like the game overall. I think it helped me get into the sport. I don't know if that was the intention of this All Star game, if they set it up like that to get more viewership.
I could tell you the intention of the All Star game.
Go ahead, let's get into it.
Oh, I mean, it's just total nonsense. Basically, what happened prior to the 2009 season, the MLS was basically, they would do a Super Bowl style selection for the game for the MLS, the MLS Cup, I should say. MLS Cup was a predetermined location in which all the sponsors would come in and they would just basically like choose like, okay, we're going to go with the last one, for example, was in Seattle, which Seattle was being given an expansion team at the time. And we're going to go to Seattle. So in that Seattle MLS Cup final was LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake, which coincidentally also finished in penalties. So after that, I guess the sponsors of the MLS were like, hey, if we're not going to be sponsoring the MLS Cup, what are we going to be sponsoring? and they were still doing the MLS All Star Game, but now the MLS asked all the sponsors to come and sponsor the MLS All Star Game, which is predetermined. So the past couple of years, they've had it like in Orlando, they've had it in Texas, now they've had it in LA. They've had it in a lot of different places. They had it in Portland one year, which was exciting. They played Bayern Munich, which turned competitive, but not for the good reasons, because Pep Guardiola at the time was not happy with the way the MLS was playing defense and felt the game was a little aggressive, but I digress. And yeah, that's a kind of more or less why the game exists, I guess, per se. That's why we're here, which the MLS is trying to gain traction as being a not small league, and Liga MX is trying to gain back their old notoriety of, hey, we're still a good league. Like, you still come get our players and move them to Europe. But yeah, I will admit though that Liga MX has somewhat taken a dip in quality in regards to corruption and playing, I guess.
Yeah, that sucks to hear.
I mean, I don't think they care, man. They're getting some money out of this, so.
But it does set the sport back.
A little bit. I mean, in Mexico at least. I mean, this helps more the US than I would say Liga MX. And remember, we can't say USA because technically Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal play in the MLS.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But when I think about it, I don't even think there was any Canadian players on the All-Star team for the MLS. I don't recall anybody being selected off the top of my head. Unfortunately.
No, they're too busy playing hockey.
Stupid. Hey, you could have got oh man, I'm forgetting his name, the guy from Toronto. Pasuelo. They could have got him.
I
think he's good. Okay, I know you don't know who that is, but I feel like they could have got him. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add about the game?
No, I think I enjoyed the game overall. And I might be watching more soccer games.
All right, sounds good. Maybe we could do a podium show about soccer or something.
Well, it might be a while before I catch up enough to do a podium show.
All right, for sure. But yeah, that was the two main things we were going over. Are you ready for something I would like to call the warm up for now? And yeah, the warm up will be a subtle nod before the rundown.
Yes, let me set this warm up if you don't mind, Robert. So in the wee hours of the night, I get a notification after I think maybe 3 a.m. I get up, try to let the dogs out. I see I was added on Twitter by none other than Robert Rios himself on Ravening RunOff. And he says, I missed something important. I thought to myself, what could I have missed that was so cool? And it was a 16-inning game between the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yeah, isn't that exciting?
Oh, I don't know what can make baseball more boring than adding more hours and more scoreless innings.
Do you guys see what I have to deal with? A sports fan that doesn't like sports? What is this shenanigans?
As you say yourself, Robert, baseball is not a sport, it's a pastime.
Yeah, I know, but you can still enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy watching the highlights. Like, props to the guy who cut 5 hours of game footage down to highlights. Props to you.
I mean, at that point, you're only doing hits and strikeouts.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do hits. You got to look at videos for fly balls, ground balls, every base.
But we're not going to do all of them at that point. Like, I think the MLB posts about 7 to 10 minute video, and it's all strikeouts, hits, and home runs, which you have to take out most hits because actually there weren't many hits. Like, a lot of people went, like a lot of the hitters went 0 for 12. There was only about a couple of strikeouts. It was just everybody was grounding out or flying out. So it was somewhat of a boring game, only up until the later parts of the extra innings. in which, if you will allow me to explain really quickly, yes, they went to 16 innings. The game was about 5 hours, ended at 1 a.m, but it's okay. I stay up anyway. And the game ended 5-3 with the Dodgers beating the Padres in San Diego off of a 2-run home run off of AJ Pollock. But I mean, just to give out some more details, Walker Buehler and Blake Snell were really good pitchers starting the game, but they were quickly forgotten once we got into the extras because, you know, their shutout pitching went as far as it could because, you know, eventually they had to take them out. The Padres were leading. Will Smith, I believe he hit a home run, which helped tie the game up at 1. And that's how we got into all this whole predicament. But everybody was watching this game, dude. I don't know why you gotta hate on it. But just to keep going on with the game, you know, yeah, there wasn't really no hitting. There was nothing going on from the 10th to the 14th inning. And yeah, the game then got loopy. Chris Taylor, he was on second already. He would score off of a Billy McKinney pitch hit single off of Daniel Camarena. Sorry, Camarena.
Camarena.
I hope I said that correctly. And then Trey Turner hit a one pitch later, singled home Smith. Danny, where were you at again? You were walking your dog or something?
I was asleep the entire time, but I was notified that this game even existed at 3 a.m. on Twitter by you.
Shaking my head. But yes, the Dodgers only had 5 hits in the first 14 innings before those 3 hits that they got off that pitcher. And the Padres went 10 innings without a hit. This was not a very exciting game unless you were a hardcore baseball fan. You're like, dude, I want to see it. Like, it was kind of like a telenovela or a soap opera that just kept dragging on up until the end where it got really juicy.
Yeah, I mean, but usually the telenovela has, you know, some dramatic stuff in the middle. Someone almost gets hit by a car.
Well, I'm telling you, this was a boring telenovela. This was a boring soap opera. This was like Days of Our Lives here, going on forever for no reason.
Well, you know,
I think like 3 generations of actors come into play, people.
Yeah, it's like it should have been cut off earlier, canceled, but for some reason it just keeps going.
No, yeah, that's how baseball works. But yeah, the Dodgers were up 3-1 after those 2 hits. And then in the bottom of the 14th, Tatis Jr. hits his league-leading 35th home run to tie the game up at 3. And I was like, oh, man, here we go again. We're going to start all over. And it was another thing that the commentators on the game on ESPN that I was watching on, dude, they were noticing that they were walking a lot of people. So that's why, that's why we got Will Smith on base in the top of the 14th, because they didn't want to hit the Will Smith because he hit the homer. So, but also on the same side for the Dodgers, they were walking a lot of people too. So I mean, at that point, where they couldn't avoid hitting Tatis. So I mean, good on him for tying the game up. And I mean, if you were up at this time, you would be like, oh damn it, this guy had to freaking hit a home run. And then I would have to explain to you that no, this guy hits a lot of home runs. So haha, in your face. So into the 15th inning we go. And I believe it was Max Muncy who was out there on second base waiting to go home. And along comes AJ Pollock, who was 0 for 6 in the game, hits a bomb, a home run, a 2-run home run to give the Dodgers the lead again, once again, 5-3 now. And after that, the Padres just never recovered. And to close it out for the Dodgers was Shane Green, which I thought this was funny. I was like, dude, is this like Sean Green's like return? I know you don't know who that is, Danny, but if you're an old-time Dodger fan, you remember Sean Green. Shout out Sean Green. He used to pitch for the Dodgers. You know, he came out. He was the 10th pitcher of the night for the Dodgers. In the second game with his new team, he got the final 3 outs for the save. Green was the 8th pitcher of the night. Oh, excuse me. Green is the 8th Dodgers pitcher to save a game this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
the 10th pitcher of the night.
No, he was the 10th pitcher of the night, but he's the 8th pitcher to save a game this season for the Dodgers.
Amazing. Props to you. Shout out Green.
All right, there you go.
Both Greens. Shout out.
The old Green and the new Green. Here's, I think they spelled differently. But yeah, it was a good game. It was getting a stir on the socials because it was a really kooky type of game. I mean, that's baseball.
Did this game break any records? Is that the longest baseball game? This is
the longest extra inning game was the new rule that was implemented in 2020, which basically means that when you start extra innings, you have no outs, but you have someone on second already. So to better phrase that, since the runner on second rule was instituted in 2020, the previous longest MLB game was 13 innings, and that was done 4 times.
Interesting.
No, it is interesting. That's why this was a crazy game, because you had people on base and no one could score. No one could hit either. It was like, bruh. And usually when you go down your pitching rotation, no one could pitch. Well, I mean, not that they suck, but usually those are guys that you save or you just have on the side.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect to use them, which I believe the Padres went through almost all their rotation. Like they went down to the last pitcher.
Yeah, and if you allow me to hate a little bit, even with runners on base, it was still a boring game.
You shut your mouth.
And with that said, welcome to the rundown.
Yeah, good on the Dodgers, and yeah, we're now on the rundown. Just some notable things we like to say. Carly Lloyd, U.S. men's national team, is calling it quits for the playing for the U.S. now. She's 39 and she will continue her playing career, but no longer with the U.S. team. Shout out to her. She had a really good run, winning the World Cup, going to the Olympics. They won the bronze this past year. So yeah, good.
Shout out to Lloyd.
Yeah, shout out to Lloyd. Another small thing I'd like to point out is that in regards to the podium show that we just recorded this week, the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big Ten have made it official. They are now part of an alliance. If you'd like to hear more about that, you could go to our podium show. Although it is what we speculated, me and Daniel speculated that they were just going to, come together, make a schedule to counteract the SEC, who has had control of the college landscape for the past 15 years, winning 11 national championships. So there you go. Called it. Some NFL news. Trevor Lawrence was named the starting quarterback for the Jags. Teddy Bridgewater, former Saints quarterback, former Panthers quarterback, was named the starting quarterback for the Broncos, which the Broncos have gone through a lot of different quarterbacks in Denver. Right after Manning, right after Tebow also. And another starting quarterback news, I believe Jameis Winston is getting the job in New Orleans after Drew Brees. I'm assuming he's going to beat out Taysom Hill, who's been a great quarterback for the Saints, but I guess he's not getting it done. He didn't get it done in the preseason games or at practice, and I guess Coach Sean Payne's going to go with the more experienced man. Although, as someone that likes watching the Saints play, Jameis Winston is not the right move. I don't think this is going to go anywhere else. Prior to leaving his job at Tampa Bay, he was known as the pick six machine. So,
no, shout out to Winston, pick six.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. As a huge fan of the Saints, this really hurts Robert. I can feel it in his bones. It's like a big paper cut.
Yes, it is. But look out for some more NFL news coming up. I believe the NFL season starts in 2 weeks. I think it starts around the week of September 12th. So look out for some more NFL news. With that, just go over this really quickly. Or Danny, if you can help me out here. This is other news that came up this week. Serena and Venus Williams have called out of the U.S. Open. Can you give us some more details on that, Danny?
Yeah, so Serena and Venus Williams join Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal with withdrawals from the major tournament. They both cite leg injuries. I think Serena Williams specifically cited Serena specifically cited a hamstring injury, while Venus said she had a general leg injury. Both sisters announced it within a 10-hour span, and it's the first time since the four players of Serena, Venus Williams, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal have not appeared together since 2003. So it's going to be interesting what players come up.
No, yeah, I mean, this is where people get the opportunities. Dan, you used to play tennis, right?
Yes, sir. I used to play in high school. In other tennis news, our favorite tennis player, or my favorite tennis player, Naomi Osaka, was harassed, or quote unquote harassed, by a reporter after her first public practice, I believe. And it's not just her that felt that the questioning of this one reporter, I think from the Inquirer, was quoted as rude and aggressive. But other reporters have said that, or they've condemned the Inquirer's reporter and questioned why he even asked Naomi Osaka, who's had a history of anxiety speaking to the press and has foregone speaking to the press at all because of this. So just interesting sports athlete news as they interact with the press and as mental health makes a bigger impact on sports in general.
I mean, what was the question? Do you know what the question was?
No, the question was never stated. No one ever revealed what the question was. But other reporters said it was rude. I think one of the quotes was very harsh, condemning the reporter who asked it. I think they said it was uncalled for and it's not a place, or I think they said a press conference is not a place where athletes should be asked those types of questions. Something very harsh. I thought it was super surprising that other reporters condemned this question.
That's interesting because she had just done a press conference where another reporter asked her not a rude question, but an interesting question that, you know, brought her to tears. Like, hey, like, we know you don't like talking to the media, but like, what would you suggest would be a better fit for you? And it brought her to tears because she was trying to get her thoughts together. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. And, you know, she went into tears and they cut the press conference there. But that's odd that I guess someone would want to come after her. I don't know. I mean,
you know what? I think we're talking about the same thing. That might have been the question because
I don't know. It wasn't rude. Like, I mean, she didn't get mad. Like it was just like, well, what do you think? Like he's like, he's like, my bad. Like, I mean, I highly doubt that it's the same one because, yeah, like that's kind of odd that someone would be like, well, like, I mean, whatever the question was, like, because I saw the recording. It was posted, I believe, on ESPN, and I mean, I thought the question was
I think
somewhat easy, but I mean,
I think
it was probably hard for her.
Yeah. I think it was definitely hard for her first press conference back. I think the reporters are quoted as saying that it wasn't just the question itself, but it was the tone and the presentation of the question to Osaka.
No, yeah, I'm not sure then because that would be, I mean, as someone that's done press conferences, yeah, I mean, some reporters are more headstrong with their work. Not that they think they're the shit, but like they're trying to do their job and they want to get a question. They're trying to do a specific type of headline, a specific type of story that, you know, at times it may seem aggressive, but you know, like sometimes, it's just it's hard for reporters to go like to stop themselves and realize, all right, what type of question am I going to ask? Like, what type of questions are people going to ask? Like, am I going to ask something that's relatable to something someone else asked? If I'm the first guy, am I going to come out swinging? Like, what are we going to do? Like, it's very taboo. There's a very gray line, and it's a little hard to decipher.
Yeah. After further research, it is not that same question, but what the reporter asked was something along the lines of Naomi Osaka is not a fan of dealing with the crazy press, or she's not crazy with dealing with the press. But I think it was the same type of question.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the guy used somewhat same verbiage, but I wouldn't say it was rude necessarily. Because she was like, "Oh no, you're fine," and then she started tearing up, and then the moderator was, "All right, we'll go to the next mission." No, wait. She's like, "I don't know," and then she started tearing up again, and then they then cut the press conference. I think they asked her. I think they might ask her one more question, but then they cut it there. But when was this? When did this occur?
This was about a week ago, I think.
Oh, it's probably the same one then. I mean, personally, I didn't think it was that hard of a question. I mean, not it was rude, but it was a little bit of a difficult question because it would take more time than just a quick thought. That's my only critique of that question.
Yeah, I think we'll see more of this as mental health plays a bigger role in sports, and athletes are more open to presenting their mental health and their mental state in high pressure situations. But yes, I think you have one last piece of news in the wide world of wrestling, right, Robert?
Oh no, yeah, the one place where you're gonna get yelled at all the time is WWE and the brand new AEW, which I had you another assignment I gave you. Watch these two videos because we're gonna compare and contrast very quickly. It's been 7 long years, and the man, the myth, the legend, CM Punk makes his return to pro wrestling in Chicago, his hometown. And dude, that video
he got nearly 5-minute standing ovation.
Dude, there's people crying. There's people, dude. There's people just saying his name 50 times throughout the whole segment.
It was insane.
I didn't send you the second one where he got the talk. Where dude, it was just pandemonium. He stage dived. Dude, it was insane.
Yeah. I saw security was so worried. They're like, "What the hell is this guy doing? He's diving into a crowd. It's COVID. It's everything."
No, yeah. So I mean, it was a good time. I mean, I haven't seen CM Punk. I was even getting a little emotional. I was like, "Oh man, this is so cool." I was like, "Oh, I don't know." It brought nostalgia, and for him to come back. I mean, not that I'm a big CM Punk guy, but I don't know, like how I said, it brought back memories of 2011, 2010 before high school.
Yeah, I remember watching CM Punk in wrestling.
Dang, did you watch wrestling?
Back in the day. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a great sports and entertainment moment to see, a warm welcome to someone who took a step back from the sport for good reason. And he's been a great advocate for other wrestling leagues, supporting these entertainers and these wrestlers.
I know, and he even said,
really supporting.
He even said in his speech, once I left Ring of Honor, I made sure that it was in good standing and people got paid.
Yeah,
he was carrying Ring of Honor, and then he went to WWE, where I believe he made his debut in 2005 on ECW, and his career just went up from there. I mean, unfortunately, they didn't see eye to eye with creative, and that's what led him to leave. But Danny, I had you watch another video.
Yes.
Can you tell me what it was and what were your thoughts?
I saw Brock Lesnar return. Was it in the same wrestling network? Was it also AEW? I don't believe it was.
No, it was WWE. Bro, are you serious?
It was WWE.
Once it's AEW, once it's WWE, sir. Come on.
I don't remember the water tag. My bad.
So I can clarify, because apparently Danny doesn't freaking know. CM Punk debuted on a Friday night episode of the newly introduced AEW Rampage on Friday. Once again, the new wrestling company, which has gained much popularity due to its more core audience and core wrestling emphasis. And on Saturday, the next day, Brock Lesnar re-debuted, returned to the WWE to surprise to many, because a lot of people already knew that CM Punk was returning, but this was a surprise that Brock Lesnar showed up. And as someone that I guess you could say is an avid, once in a while wrestling watcher, I feel like CM Punk's was more memorable due to the fact that people were waiting for this. Yeah. And I mean, people it was at SummerSlam, by the way, on Saturday in Las Vegas. WWE was hosting SummerSlam event.
Which is their most watched event, right? Typically.
Besides WrestleMania.
Yeah.
For the summer, yes, it's like their second or third biggest event because it's the summer, not it's like vacation time. People want to go see wrestling, and yeah, although the Lesnar return was secret and people lost their minds, I feel like the CM Punk was bigger because people were actually waiting for this. Because I already have a feeling that Brock Lesnar is a part timer, like he's not always going to be there. I feel like he was very overpowered when they first had him. And I just wanted to say that. I mean, like, it's glad to see CM Punk back and to see Lesnar back too.
Yeah. Did you have one last piece of news, Robert?
Today the Champions League draw came out. Just very quickly, because I know we're running out of time here, just to wrap it up. The Champions League draw was today. Dude, it's going to be hectic. I'm going to say Group B is going to be the hardest. It's the group of death, I should say. Because, dude, that whole group is stacked to the brim. Group B has Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, FC Porto, and AC Milan. I'm like, dude, that's a good time. That's a party right there. The other groups that caught my attention were Group A and Group H. Group A has Man City, Paris Saint-Germain, RB Leipzig, and Club Brugge. Man City made it to the final last year. And then Group H, for me, they have Juventus. They have Football Club Zenit from Russia, Malmo from Sweden, and they also have the winner is Chelsea. So I'd be really interested to see where this goes. Other notable teams are in Champions League. Inter Milan, Real Madrid are playing in Group D.
Wait, you mentioned Real Madrid. Another piece of news: Mbappe is rumored to be signing with Real Madrid and leaving PSG.
He wants out, supposedly.
Yeah, we'll see. But continue.
I don't think he's getting that deal. But yes, and in Group E, you have Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Yeah, Barcelona. But yeah, that's your Champions League update right there. I believe that's everything we got.
All right. Well,
is there anything else you would like to add?
I will be working on logo. We'll be updating all of our stuff. And that's it. Yeah.
All right, great. Oh, what you got?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. What are the handles, Robert?
All right, I'll start getting us out of here. Yes, you can find us on Twitter at Off Rambling, where you can hear me or Danny talk about whatever sports topic that comes to mind at the moment. If you want to find us on Instagram, we have Instagram now. You can type in Rambling RunOff all together. We got some good things trying to cook up for the show. Hopefully we could get ourselves on Spotify soon, iTunes, yes. Google Play, wherever it's at. But yeah, that's all we got for the show?
That's it for this week.
All right, and just remember, once again, we might be changing up our schedule because Danny's going to be working on some stuff. He might be out of town, but yeah, this was a Rambling RunOff. I'm Robert Rios. This was Mr. Danny
Tan, and see you guys next week.
See ya. Bye.
Peace.